Post-season Formula 1 testing may not have all the appeal and curiosity surrounding it that its pre-season cousin has, but as always, the 2024 post-season test was incredibly revealing and serves as a massive prelude to some of the biggest storylines of 2025. Teammate drama waiting to happen, hierarchies being set, and the first look at some fantastic drivers in their new colors, looking to carry the team forwards, are but a few of the expected outcomes of the post-season test, and it's fair to say that the 2024 post-season test has certainly delivered on all fronts. Want to know why the postseason tests had some revelations that you may have missed? If you look at just the times, you may have missed a few things, but we're here to make sure that you are up to date. The first and most impactful set of tests in Abu Dhabi were for the RB team, where the two drivers were given one last chance to prove why they should be the ones to replace Sergio Perez, with it seeming more and more likely that the Mexican driver has 1 foot out of the door already. Well, on the surface, you'd notice that Liam Lawson placed higher than his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, having completed more laps to boot. But what may have passed some people by is which cars the drivers were in. Yuki Tsunoda appears to have one hand on the prize already, having completed 127 laps in a Red Bull at Abu Dhabi alongside the necessary rookie inclusion of F2 runner-up Isaac Hadjar. Now, with a few years under his belt, as well as a penchant for beating his teammates, Tsunoda feels like he has done everything necessary to be granted a step up to the main team, and it would appear that Red Bull are more inclined to promote the young Japanese driver rather than his fresh-faced Kiwi counterpart. Lawson would have had to do an awful lot to be prioritized above Tsunoda, as, while it was clear that he was preferable over the jaded and stagnant Daniel Ricciardo, he is still massively inexperienced and requires a lot more development if he ever wants to take the step up to the Red Bull machinery. Now clearly, Yuki isn't without his shortcomings. His now infamous radio rants and emotional streak have often been cited as a reason for Red Bull not wanting to progress him further in his career, as well as the fact he isn't actually a Red Bull Academy driver, with the Honda Works label seeming to give people the impression that he will be shipped to whichever team they land at after they rejoin the sport for the 1000th time, which is currently at Aston Martin. According to RB team boss Lauren Mekies, all of these faults that people find with Tsunoda should be disregarded, as he believes that he is entirely ready to take the step up. If a driver performs at the level of speed he's performing right now, it would be a lie to tell you that he's not ready for something even faster. It would be a lie. He has put the car in P3 in Brazil, in P7 in Vegas on the grid. Who am I to tell you that he's not ready to get a faster car? Of course he's ready to get a faster car. In terms of what he's been doing out of the car, yes, he's made some huge improvements as well, both in terms of feedback and in terms of controlling his emotions. Every team situation is different, but I think to tell you, no, I don't think he's ready for an environment or another, I will not be able to tell you that. You could say that another driver has another set of skills that is ready or as good as for that environment, but for sure, both drivers today are ready to go to the next steps. So while of course Mekies finishes the statement by regarding both drivers, it's clear to see who will be replacing Sergio Perez if what seems to be the inevitable happens. Yuki Tsunoda's test in the Red Bull, as well as the letter of reference from Lauren Mekies, seems to point towards his elevation to Red Bull sooner rather than later, and who knows, if despite how everything looks right now they decide to snub him of the opportunity, Yuki certainly has a lot of admirers around the paddock. Another story from testing that will certainly bring smiles to faces is Carlos Sainz being at the top end of the timesheet in his debut outing for Williams. Proving once again to be inseparable from Charles Leclerc, Sainz finished a mere 10th away from his now ex-teammate, having completed more laps. The Spaniard has cemented himself as a fan favorite and only denied a top seat due to sheer circumstance and, in the case of Red Bull, possibly being too good to bring into a pre-existing environment. Williams had a good showing overall, with the necessary rookie Luke Browning showing good pace and consistency, but Sainz really was the pick of the field. According to the Spaniard, his testing mentality started before the checkered flag fell in Abu Dhabi. That's right, while he was still racing in red. Being very honest with you, I don't think it's hard to change teams quickly. I think, I'm not gonna lie, my last laps, as much as I was pushing like hell for this team and trying to, I was already starting to feel things in the car and trying to say, remember how this feels, because tomorrow and Tuesday, I need to remember why this car is quick in this corner and why does it feel good. because I know probably what I'm going to find Monday and Tuesday needs some margin of improvement in the corners that I was feeling the car. So this just sums up that I'm already looking also ahead. I'm extremely motivated for the challenge that I have ahead of me. I think no matter who your main team is, no matter how you may feel about his time at Ferrari, McLaren or AlphaTauri, and no matter how uphill of a battle it may seem that Carlos Sainz faces to drag Williams to the front, every single fan of Formula 1 will be rooting for Williams to fight at the front come the new regulations. The big team mentality on display by Sainz, the positive direction already started by fellow Red Bull reject Alex Albon, and the likeable leadership of James Vowles has set up a feel-good story waiting to happen, with one of Formula 1's most historic teams being set for more upward momentum in the coming years as the fruits of its new ownership and investment finally come to bear. Having identified Williams' key weaknesses, as well as having a great understanding of car setup and his expectations of how a good car should feel, Carlos Sainz has adapted really quickly to the Williams. Having two drivers who can keep it out the wall, while both being absolutely electric on their day, should make for a lethal combination, as imagine just how much further along the team may have been without all the crashes by the number 2 seat in recent years. However, while Sainz has seemingly made a strong start, he's staying realistic about the challenges at hand, with him saying this to the media on the testing day press conferences. It is impossible to predict the future, and first of all to know how long it's going to take me and Williams to be back fighting for podium positions. I think James Vowles said it the other day and calmed everyone's expectations. The next year is going to be a tough year and a learning year before we prepare for the challenge of the regulations in 2026, where I believe the team is investing and the team is preparing to maximize that chance. But the 4-time race winner made sure to double down on his belief that he is a top-quality driver who belongs at the front, and he will be there whether he is put in a top seat or whether he has to drag a prior underperforming seat to the front of the field, while also alluding to a symmetry between him and his now team, as he said, "What I can tell you is, I'm as determined as ever to help this team to be back where it belongs. I personally feel like I belong to be fighting for wins, podiums, and top 5s in Formula 1. I think I've proven this. These last 4 years as a driver, I think I belong to that. But Williams also belongs to fighting for this top 5 and podium places, and together with the determination and the strength that I think we're going to show together, the target is to get Williams and myself fighting for those positions in the near future." So the post-season test has proven to be incredibly insightful in regards to the future, and that's without us delving into the performances of Antonelli, Doohan and Bortoleto, as well as other would-be drivers looking to break into the field in the future. Iwasa and O'Ward provided an intriguing insight as to whether drivers from other categories can hang with the powerhouses of Formula 1, which may add some further intrigue in regards to GM Cadillac's driver choices come 2026. But hey, those are all the points for another day. For now, the day belongs to Yuki Tsunoda and Carlos Sainz as the real winners of post-season testing 2024. Thank you for watching.